at Lakewood, my hometown race, I'm proud to say, from Colorado. My whole life, about 6,000 feet roughly here in the foothills of Lakewood. Down in Denver, it's about 5,200 feet, but definitely the elevation zaps some of these guys. And the thing I think a lot of them don't realize is, besides the breathing, the hydration, it sucks the moisture right out of the dirt, right out of the air, and a lot of them it'll catch up with them by the second moto. And of course, Leatt offers a variety of hydration systems. Some guys use them, some guys don't. We try to talk them all into it, but you know, they feel like they don't need it. They're big, tough motocrossers, but I think you'll see a few of them out there today. They'll be the smart ones at the end of the moto. Even if they get a couple, you know, mouthfuls of water, it's better than having nothing at all. 30+2 at this elevation, and it's going to be rather warm today. The sun kind of refracts off the hillside, makes it even feel like it's hotter than it is here at Lakewood. But definitely, I would recommend staying hydrated before, during, and after the motos. Obviously, riders, Alessi and guys like that come in early and they try to get acclimated up here. But then the flip side of that, you got some trainers that say fly in as late as possible and then get out, because your body never has a chance to get acclimated. I've lived up here my whole life, so I don't notice it, but a lot of these guys have raced Mammoth, which is even higher. I think it's like 10,000 feet, so you know, to each their own. Everybody's got their own little secret ingredient, but like you said, the key thing is hydration, definitely. I think the big reason, a lot of them come up here to train during the summer, but the biggest reason is the weather during the winter. Even Tomac has to eventually head to California at some point during the winter. We can ride year-round here. We don't get as much snow as people think. It's just sort of hit or miss. Actually, this track stays open year-round here at Lakewood for locals, but if it snows, you can't ride. So I'd say that's probably the biggest reason. And then, you know, geographically, it's not super convenient for testing and stuff like that. But you do get guys, like you said, the Olympic training centers down in Colorado Springs, and a lot of, you know, world-class athletes come up here to train for sure. And I think it helps in the altitude. It makes a big difference.
Actually, I do not do anything different, but when you come over here, you can definitely feel, I mean, you walk up the stairs or something, you're definitely breathing harder. Also on the bike, it's a lot slower. We actually start in first gear here, where on a normal track you would easily start in second gear. So not doing anything different, to be honest. There's not much you can do unless you live in the altitude. I mean, then it's perfect. I'm pretty sure Eli, for example, he won't even feel a big difference here, but overall though, I don't do anything different. A lot more body work for sure to do the jumps and stuff, and I think you have to ride the bike a lot harder.
It's a little different. We came a few days early. We had press day this week, so we got to ride and make some adjustments to the bike. So it's going pretty good. The body's okay. It's just a little bit more labor, and you feel yourself breathing a little harder every now and then. The bike's definitely a little bit slower, and the jumps are harder to get, so it's going to take a lot of work to get it done for 30 minutes today.
Really, we didn't really have to make that many changes. We went up 2 teeth on the rear sprocket just for the altitude, helping it pull up the uphills and things like that. But mainly the KTM fuel injection auto-corrected for all of the altitude and the climb. I used to struggle with jetting non-stop between motos, non-stop jetting. This thing, fill it up and go. I mean, it auto-corrects while it's out there for the temperature of the motorcycle versus the temperature outside. The altitude, if the filter starts getting where it's not sucking as much air, it actually auto-corrects for that also. The fan on our bikes, once it gets right at 200 degrees, the automatic fan kicks on. That's the great thing about KTM's having a battery on them.
Yeah, the elevation, it was bad for the bikes for sure. I mean, it was the same for everyone. For breathing too, that was a little bit tougher than usual, but it was okay.
We're used to training, riding in these conditions, so it's high here. It's 5,300. It's kind of the same as our house. It's not ridiculously high though, so the bikes are slower. The riders are going to feel it, especially from mid-moto on. So I think he'll have a level of comfort of kind of knowing, you know, what it's like to feel like that. But he is acclimated to this elevation. Is it an advantage? It should be some. It hasn't really proven to make a big difference in the past. Yeah. I don't know, it seems like people care more about being in humidity and heat than they do at elevation. You know, there's really not that many places you can do that, so that makes it a little more difficult. And when you're at elevation, normally you're in a climate that you can't ride in the winter. So, like for us, we're home from about mid-February through December 1st. We're in Colorado. Obviously, December, January, parts of February, it's impossible to ride.
Yeah, I think being acclimated to elevation is going to help. I mean, you know, when you're from sea level and you come up here, a lot of times you're gasping for air, you know, it's just a different feel. So I think just being totally used to it is an advantage for me. And we had a short intermission this week too, so I think that helps also.